Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the 2018 Mercedes-Benz G550. In this review, I'm going to cover all of the ins and outs, give plenty of sound clips, take it on a thorough drive, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up and let her run. Originally developed to excel in military, municipal, as well as civilian duty, the G-Class is a timeless design that's remained largely the same since it first rolled out back in 1979. I've always wanted to drive one of these. It's everything I had imagined it would be, with a few surprises thrown in. The first thing that stands out is just how old school it is. Take away all of the leather, technology, and fancy finishings, and you have a serious off-roading time machine. There's nothing else like it. For example, the flat glass windows were actually designed to make emergency replacement easier, even in the most remote areas of the world. If you're looking for a vehicle that never seems to age, this is the one for you. It's one of the most substantial feeling SUVs I've ever driven. The doors in particular are quite heavy. They close with the authority of a bank vault. Even with all of the modern details, technology, and premium features nowadays, the G-Class remains uncomplicated, uncompromised, and functional to the fullest extent. Its shape, tall and boxy, helps maximize interior space for what it is, while the minimal overhangs allow for better maneuverability when off-roading. Of course, being developed over 3 decades ago does bring about some inherent shortcomings. It was born with a utilitarian mindset, but has since evolved into an icon for many different reasons. Believe it or not, one of those reasons is performance. The G550 alone packs more than enough grunt for most people, but for those who like to live on the edge, they can opt for either the G63 AMG, which packs a twin-turbocharged 5.5-liter V8, or the G65 AMG, which packs a twin-turbocharged 6-liter V12. The latter develops an incredible 621 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. It's so unnecessarily necessary. Compared to a 2018 Range Rover, the G550 is about 10 inches shorter in overall length, about 6 inches slimmer in width if you include the mirrors, and about 3 inches taller. This is a vehicle that no one really needs, but that doesn't stop a number of folks out there, including myself, from having it on their short list of bucket list hopefuls. The most significant updates to the G-Class in recent time came a couple of years ago, with the introduction of an all-new base engine and subtle tweaks to the styling and interior. Up front, a stainless steel brush guard frames the chromed 3-bar grille and LED accented headlamps. Stainless steel running boards ease entry and exit, and the rear-mounted full-size spare tire is protected by a cover trimmed in polished stainless steel. This example is equipped with the Diseño Manufacturer Mojave package. It's a $14,500 option that's designed with a stark contrast between a rugged exterior and an opulent interior, featuring unique colors and materials. The exterior is finished in matte olive mango, contrasted by black lower bodywork and black AMG 5-spoke wheels. The interior features two-tone saddle brown and black leather upholstery, along with a two-tone steering wheel. The cabin's rich look and feel is complemented by anthracite poplar wood and a black Dynamica headliner. The G550 already comes very well equipped. The majority of options relate to colors, finishers, and trim. Base pricing including destination starts at $124,595. With all of the options shown here, total MSRP comes to $145,595. The G550 features 19 by 7.5 inch wheels at all four corners, wrapped in 275/55 all-season tires. The AMG 5-spoke design comes standard. The only option you have is whether you want a gray or black finish. Shown here, the black wheels are a $500 option. The brakes consist of 4-wheel internally ventilated discs that span 12.4 inches in front and 10.7 inches in the rear. They're clamped down by 4-piston and single-piston calipers respectively. Since this model isn't designed with the same performance attitude as the AMG variants, the brakes are actually a bit smaller. This should make a difference in spirited driving, but in normal day-to-day use, these standard brakes did just fine. The G550 steering is a traditional recirculating ball setup with hydraulic power assistance. The overall ratio is rated at 18.6 to 1. The turning circle is measured at 44.6 feet. Here's an area where the vehicle's age really starts to show. Handling is pretty similar to an older heavy-duty pickup. You don't get much of a connected feel through the steering wheel, and more often than not, you're having to make little corrections here and there to keep the thing in line. It's less predictable than I would have thought, especially out on the highway. The ride quality is firm yet stable. The 2019 model looks to be a marked improvement. That being said, off-road ability has always been a signature of the G-Class. That's what it's made for. It's not built to be sporty or offer a ride comparable to an S-Class. The G550 can climb an 80% grade or 38 degrees of incline and handle a 54% lateral slope or 28.4 degrees of sideways tilt. Its suspension is engineered for the most rugged conditions, with rigid front and rear axles with longitudinal and transverse links, coil springs, gas pressurized shock absorbers, and a front stabilizer bar. There's 9.25 inches of ground clearance and more than 8 inches of wheel travel. With short front and rear overhangs, the G550 also features steep approach and departure angles. The permanent all-wheel drive system features a 2-speed transfer case. 3 sequentially lockable differentials are also included. Via the buttons on the dash, the locking sequence is as follows: center, rear, then front. Depending on the situation, they can be used to maintain the ideal balance of torque and traction to pull you out of a sticky situation. The G550 is also offered with an adjustable suspension that includes electronically adjustable shock absorbers. They were part of the 2016 updates. The damping rate can be varied at the touch of a button, but also automatically, depending on the driving situation, to firm or relax the shock absorbers as necessary. Unfortunately, this example didn't have them, but I think it's safe to assume that they transformed the way this thing hits the road. In 2016, Mercedes introduced a new twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8 as the base engine for the G550. It develops 416 horsepower at 5,250 RPM and 450 pound-feet of torque between 2,250 and 4,750 RPM. That's an increase of 34 horsepower and 59 pound-feet of torque over the 5.5-liter naturally aspirated V8 it replaced. The 2018 G550 is able to hit 60 miles an hour in 5.8 seconds. That's a tad quicker than before. Not too shabby considering it weighs a little over 5,700 pounds. With a generous amount of torque available low in the rev range, in conjunction with ladder-type body-on-frame construction, the G550 can tow up to 7,000 pounds. The engine takes advantage of a lot of advanced features, such as direct fuel injection, multi-spark ignition, low-friction cylinder liners, and forged aluminum pistons. The cast aluminum block's closed deck design and sand cast aluminum crankcase increases durability, while the zirconium alloy cylinder heads allow for better temperature control. The compression ratio is rated at 10.5 to 1. Redline is 6,300 RPM. Rather than mounting the turbos along the outer edges of the cylinder banks, where the exhaust manifolds would typically reside, they're placed within the V of the engine in between the cylinder banks. Together they churn out 14.5 psi of boost. The intake and exhaust manifolds effectively trade places, leading to a more compact engine with improved thermal management as the exhaust gases are no longer routed across the sides. This also allows the engine to sit further back towards the firewall for better weight distribution than before. With this configuration, lag is practically non-existent. The linearity of acceleration and how quickly the G550 responds to throttle input is impressive. Of course, there's a sophisticated cooling system composed of a network of ducts and air channels, the majority of which are easily viewable from the engine compartment. One of my favorite G-Class signatures are the true dual side pipes that peek out just ahead of the rear wheels. Even in non-AMG form, they deliver a muscular, throaty growl under acceleration while maintaining a more serene tone during highway cruising. With regards to fuel economy, the G550 on premium fuel is rated at 13 miles per gallon in the city and 14 miles per gallon on the highway. In mixed driving, I noticed an average of 13 miles per gallon. Total tank capacity is 25.4 gallons. To save a bit of fuel and reduce emissions at idle, an auto start stop system is included as standard. If desired, it can be shut off at any time by a button in the dash. Harnessing the engine's power is a 7-speed automatic transmission. It's operated by an electronic selector in the center console. Pull it back to engage drive, push up one step for neutral and once more for reverse. The transmission isn't quite dual clutch quick, but it feels pretty close. It operates smoothly in the background and responds to your foot with hardly a delay. It certainly gives the powertrain a welcome sporty feel. 3 drive modes, Eco, Sport, and Manual, allow you to tailor the behavior of a handful of systems. The latter enables manual shifting via the paddles in the back of the steering wheel. When left to do its own thing, the transmission's adaptive software adjusts the shift points based on your driving style. When it comes to interior design, this is honestly one of my favorite SUVs out there for the simple fact of just how old school it feels. It's such a unique environment, there's nothing else like it out there. And if you think about it, it really hasn't changed a whole lot over the years. There's a lot of modern technology and stuff in them nowadays, but it's still very traditional. And I must say, the seating position for what this thing was designed to do is perfect. You sit up high, and there's excellent visibility all the way around. One thing that I kind of like that other people might see as a drawback is that the interior is not nearly as big as you might think. It's very tall, there's a lot of headroom, but there's not a ton of wiggle room. For someone of my size, 5'10", this thing kind of fits me like a glove. It's not too big, not too small, it's just right, and it's hard to find an SUV like that nowadays. The G550 comes standard with 10-way power adjusting front seats, along with 3-person memory for the driver and passenger. Both of the seats are heated and cooled. Along with the standard type adjustments, you also have a multi-contour system, which includes triple lumbar supports, as well as adjustable side bolsters and shoulder supports, so you can custom tailor the seat to precisely fit your body. The steering wheel is power tilting and telescoping as well. A heated steering wheel is optional. A 12-speaker 450-watt Harman Kardon audio system is included as standard equipment, featuring 5.1-channel Dolby Digital surround sound. It's all routed through the latest generation Mercedes command infotainment system that includes navigation and an 8-inch screen perched on top of the dash. In the center console, you have a little rotary controller. Towards the front of the console, you have your standard dual-zone electronic automatic climate control system. There's even an electrically heated windshield. The command system is super easy to use and packs all of the features you would typically expect out of a luxury vehicle nowadays, including a lot of smartphone integration technologies such as Apple CarPlay. Other features include a voice recognition system, hands-free telephone, Bluetooth streaming, a CD player, HD radio, satellite radio, and more. Again, the infotainment features are operated via the rotary dial in the center console. The interior was packaged pretty well to offer a lot of cargo space. There's a big center console with 2 USB ports, door pockets, storage nets dispersed throughout the interior, an auxiliary cup holder on the right side of the center console, and these cool pockets that extend out from the front of the seats. There's also a large locking glove box with 2 drink coasters. When it comes to safety, the G-Class still leans more towards the traditional end of the spectrum. There's 6 airbags throughout the interior and roadside assistance. With all the updates that came for the 2016 model year, you also got some driver assistance tech such as blind spot monitoring and adaptive cruise control. Moving on to the rear, you'll notice that the seating position is quite a bit higher than the front. I actually really like this because it gives people sitting back there a much more commanding view of everything that's going on. Again, build quality is phenomenal. There's a lot of soft touch materials, a lot of leather, the outer two seats are heated, you also have a power outlet and 2 cup holders. Now you can sit 3 adults back there, which is nice. You have 3 adjustable headrests, but you don't have any armrests. The biggest downside with the back seat, kind of like the front, is that you're just limited on overall space. Now headspace is pretty generous. Again, this is a very tall vehicle. I'm 5'10" and I still had a little bit of room left to spare. But with a comfortable seating position for myself in front, it was starting to get a little bit tight as far as extra leg space. There was a little bit of wiggle room, but not a whole lot. You do have some seat back storage pockets, there's grip handles up top, and plenty of illumination. With its boxy shape, the G-Class is able to maximize cargo space out back. Swing open that large rear door and you'll find nearly 80 cubic feet worth of space. The nice thing is that the rear seat is 60-40 split, so if you needed to stow some larger items or things up to the front seats, you can fold them both down. But on top of that, there's little handles so you can flip them up and get more floor space. There's a power outlet off to the left as well as a little storage net, there's cargo hooks across the floor, and a privacy cover that you can extend out.
Now let's go ahead and see how she sounds. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2018 Mercedes-Benz G550. Be sure to stay tuned next time, leave a like and subscribe today if you haven't already. There's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.